Hiya, Stephen J. Humphrey on another daily blog. Um, Maybe I should start putting the date into these. I think it's the 15th of October. There you are. Just watching David Icke's interview with a guy called Kirk on YouTube from 30th of July. Just go David Icke 30th of July and you'll see 13 videos. Anyway, watching it up to part 9 at the moment, and yeah, I could quite easily find ways of disputing David Icke's evidence. Unfortunately for the critics, for the skeptics, I can't find an excuse to discredit David Icke, because he seems to be, a lot of what he's saying is exactly the same as what I'm saying. And I haven't really seen much of what David Icke has said. And this is probably the most I've seen of David Icke ever. Normally it's just bits here and bits there, and you don't get the full picture. All you get is the stuff about lizards and the metaphysical stuff, the psychology, I don't know. Anyway, but what he's saying in this video about Baxter and about the global elites and about the pyramid structure. Remember the pyramid? I said the same thing last month. So I can't find a way of discrediting David Icke, because what he's saying, some of his details may be inaccurate, maybe conjecture, but he's been in this game a lot longer than I have. I mean, I've had my suspicions about stuff, but I've not gone into the same detail that David Icke has gone into, because primarily I'm a Gemini and I'm not very thorough in my research, but I've still researched it, satisfied myself that there's a global conspiracy, a new world order, because I've seen George Bush Senior saying it, and I've seen Gordon Brown saying it, and I've seen Sarkozy saying it, I've seen Barroso say it. I've seen lots and lots of evidence to prove the existence of the global elite. I'm not sure who the head honcho is. One of my Facebook friends has produced a poster which illustrates the pyramid structure pretty well, with us at the bottom as sheep, and then you got the corporates and the government and all into a hierarchy. And whichever industry you look at, from ABC down to Z, you see exactly the same pyramid structure, only those pyramid schemes are fraud. Ponzi schemes, they call them. Amway, for example, big fuck off great pyramid scam. And only the people at the top have the full agenda. The David Rockefeller and the Nicholas Rothschilds and Her Majesty the Queen are part of the top layer, the highest level, technically between us and God, but legally they're on the same level as us, but because of the hierarchy it's all Anyway, David Icke, big thumbs up. As for the detail, well, it's true that the Baxter vaccine for swine flu contains a mercury derivative, and mercury, where do we get the term Mad Hatters from? We get it from mercury used in the production of hats 200-300 years ago, and the fumes from the mercury make the hatters go mad, interrupts your bioelectrical signals in the brain, And what do? We put it in our fillings for our teeth. Right, as for climate change, well, okay, so climate change, another subject that David's got an opinion on. Supposing it is a hoax, right? Supposing, hypothetically speaking, it's all a hoax to tax us. And I noticed on the news last night a thing about carbon capture for coal-fired power stations. No new coal-fired power stations without carbon capture and storage. Although why the Americans call it sequestration, I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, supposing it is a hoax, and climate change is just another mechanism to tax us. It's a new way of robbing the people of their money, right? Supposing, does it make sense to have a coal-fired power station or spend the same amount of money on solar power? Because you look at wind farms, for example. What are they made of? They're made of 600 tons of steel, and you need an engineering crane to put them up. And then you look at the space between the windmills, the wind generators. What do? They dig a trench and they put cables between, and that's made of copper and steel and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, wind farms, bad idea. You need high engineering practices. You need a high temperature of. Well, you need to melt steel to make them for a start, and that's not sustainable. Whereas solar power, which is what is it, copper etched the glass, and you need glass. You just put the glass on the roof, or you can replace the roof tiles and all that kind of stuff. So, but the question is it sensible to keep burning coal, or should we forget about it and just put a solar panel on the roof so we don't have to burn coal? Think about that. So even if climate change is a hoax, does it make more sense to keep chucking out pollution, or does it make more sense to fix the pollution, to stop the pollution, and to change the way that we generate electricity? But on the whole, get him, Dodge, get him! Doggy chasing squirrels. He actually nearly caught him then, nearly caught him. Anyway, David, if you're watching this, you've put on some weight, mate, and I noticed you've got arthritic hands. Maybe you should have started smoking pot 30 years ago, and then maybe you wouldn't have the arthritis. But that's my personal opinion. But yeah, overall, well worth watching David Icke. And assuming he drops the whole issue about alien lizards. But then you could take the alien lizards as a metaphor, the same as the Bible uses metaphors. And you could say that the lizards are in control, when the lizards are just... Well, I don't think they're actual lizards. I think, from what David was saying a minute ago, these guys in charge, allegedly in charge, the global elites like Rockefeller and Rothschild, they're dispassionate people. They look at the world and the people that live here, the 6 billion of us that live here, as cannon fodder. Right? Think back to Napoleonic warfare. Thousands of people used to get killed. One barrage of muskets, and you slaughter loads of Frenchmen. Anyway, but the lizards, for everyone to hear, is just a metaphor, I'm sure of it. Maybe David could clarify this one day, but for now, best video of the year, definitely. New interview with David Icke, 30th of July 2009. And what he was saying, 5 months ago now, is still relevant today, and I'm not sure of the pace of change, but I'm getting close to the end of this segment, so but yeah, wake up, people. Anyway, my name's Stephen J. Humphrey, independent parliamentary candidate for Bournemouth East, when Gordon Brown finally gives us the election that we desperately need. And it's time for a change, and David Icke and all our friends are basically promoting that change for the best. Anyway, let's build a better future, let's not build a dystopian nightmare. Anyway, cheers.